Welcome to Touchdown BC. We are back for Season 4 and better than ever. Hi, I'm your host, Adam Kordick. Tune in each week for coverage on BC High School football, BC Community Ball, the BCFC, and your Vanier Cup champs, the UBC Thunderbirds. Any stories on amateur football in our province, we will be sure to bring those to you. It's been too long. Let's get right into the action. We are only 3 weeks into the BCFC season, and this season looks to be the most competitive yet. With multiple teams looking like they have what it takes to be holding up the Cullen Cup at the end of the year, this past weekend there was a battle for first place when the Westshore Rebels traveled to Kelowna to take on the defending Cullen Cup champs, the Okanagan Sun.
The Okanagan Sun stayed perfect as they beat the Westshore Rebels this past Saturday, 27-21. Standout performance from Sun running back Brendan Hansen, who rushed for 99 yards and had 5 receptions for 57 and a TD. Okanagan will host the VI Raiders this week, and Westshore will make a trip to Kamloops. The VI Raiders came back from a 17-point deficit to win big 55-24 against the Valley Huskers. VI was led by Nate Berg, who had 166 yards on the ground and 3 TDs. Great performances by Noah Faulkner and Mike West in the loss. VI travels to Kelowna this week, and Valley will visit the Langley Rams. For the second week in a row, the Langley Rams win big, this time over the Kamloops Broncos 51-7. The Rams' defense was outstanding, keeping the Broncos' offense to under 200 yards. Langley will host Valley this week, and the Broncos will host the Westshore Rebels. The BCFC Offensive Player of the Week for Week 3 is Valley Huskers receiver Michael West. The Terry Fox alum had a huge game in the loss to the VI Raiders. He finished with 9 receptions, 173 yards, and 2 TDs. The BCFC's Defensive Player of the Week is Westshore Rebels defensive lineman Kent Hicks. The former Manitoba Bison was disruptive all game long against the Sun. He finished with 5 tackles and 1 sack. The BCFC Special Teams Player of the Week is Langley Rams kicker Tiernan Doherty. Doherty had 5 punts averaging 42.5 yards, was 3 for 3 in field goals, including a long of 50, and was perfect on his converts against the Broncos. Now let's take a look at the standings. The Sun are on top with a record of 3-0, with the Rebels, Rams, and Raiders just 1 game behind.
This week in Kelowna, the 2-1 VI Raiders take on the first place 3-0 Okanagan Sun. We talked with the Raiders head coach Jerome Erdman and got his thoughts on his team's win this past weekend against the Valley Huskers and what he expects in the Okanagan Sun. Coach Erdman, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Coach, your team got off to a slow start against the Huskers, trailing 17-0 early, but things started to click and you came away with a big win, 55-24.
Look, use an old cliche, it was winning ugly, to tell you the truth, that score flattered us. Valley is a much improved team and they played very well. They made some big plays. We came out flat in the first half, but to give our guys credit, we regrouped at half and coaching staff did a good job of making some changes, and we came out and played a lot better in the second half.
In the late third, your offense started to play really well with your QB Jake LeBurge and running back Nate Berg leading the charge.
The key to it was the running game. Nate Berg and our offensive line did a great job. We pride ourselves on being a well-conditioned team, and I think that showed towards the end of the third quarter and through the fourth. We were starting to be able to pound the ball and run it, and that was the key for us offensively.
Now this weekend you travel to Kelowna to take on the 3-0 Okanagan Sun. What can you expect in that game?
A very, very tough game. They're a very good football team still. I'll be a liar if I said I'm still not smartened from the spanking they gave us last season. So, and our guys remember that. So, motivation won't be an issue for us this week. But we know we're going in to play a very, very well coached and very good football team.
That's head coach of the VI Raiders, Jerome Erdman. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Okay, thanks very much.
We also caught up with head coach of the Okanagan Sun, Ben McCauley, and talked to him about what he took away from his team's win Week 3 versus the Westshore Rebels. Coach McCauley, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me again, Adam.
Coach, this past weekend, your team took on the Westshore Rebels with first place in the BCFC on the line, beating them 27-21. What are your thoughts on your team's performance in the win?
Well, I think we came out and executed the game plan that we asked them to do. It was about being physical, being aggressive, and being disciplined and trusting our system and doing the fundamental a pretty good job, especially in the first half, of tackling and blocking and just securing the football and making sure we don't make mental errors. And I thought we did that really well.
Now to the offense. Your running back, Abdi, was out, who normally gets a lot of touches, but you found a workhorse in Brendan Hansen, who ran for a lot of hard-fought yards. What can you say about Hansen's performance?
Yeah, we're so proud of Brendan. He's just on top of being a great running back, he's a quality character guy. He never complains, never hear a word from him other than I'm ready to go. We asked him to do a lot yesterday, which was, grind out some hard yards. And he made some spectacular cuts that maybe will never show up on light video or on Sports Center or anything like that. But one cut and you can get 7 yards of it, put you in 2nd and 3. That's huge for us. And I think, the average fan might not see the significance of that. But, I don't know if he even had 100 yards rushing, but every one of those yards he earned. He was really, soft hands on the option and, grinded out those tough yards that we needed and typically that we'd see someone like Abdi do. We're really proud of him last night.
Now to this Saturday, you have another home game at the Apple Bowl. You host the 2-1 VI Raiders, a rematch of last year's Collin Cup championship. What can you expect to see from the Raiders?
Well, we saw yesterday, just getting a recap of their game, that they're able to put up some points when they need to. So we're going to have to be pretty disciplined. Jerome's a great coach and a great person, and he's going to have those guys ready. They do typically play pretty tough on the road too, and they'll be a feisty group. They play with a lot of heart, and that's kind of a Vancouver Island Raiders characteristic from years past and through current, is that they never quit. And you got to play 4 quarters of football with those guys, and they're ready to bring it every single time they step on the field. So they kind of embody that tough smash mouth style football. They can run it, and they got a good young quarterback that we saw last year while I was coaching high school in LaBerge, who played at Terry Fox. And so we know them a little bit. I'm sorry, I got a helicopter flying over top of my head right now. But so some of them are familiar to us, and we recruited a lot of the same guys, and they got a few of them that we wanted. So they got the talent there, and they're going to be better next week than they have been this season so far.
That's head coach of the Okanagan Sun, Ben McCauley. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend. We'll talk to you again next week.
Right on. Thank you.
If you are in the area, the game between the VI Raiders and the Okanagan Sun is on Saturday. Kickoff at 7 p.m. This week, we have the 0-3 Valley Huskers visiting the 2-1 Langley Rams. We talked with the Huskers head coach, Jason Quinter, and got his thoughts on his team's performance this past weekend and what he expects this weekend in a rematch against the Rams. Coach, this past weekend, your team got off to a good start, leading at halftime against the Raiders, and at one point you were up 17, but unfortunately losing 55-24. What are your thoughts on your team's performance?
Well, I think this is one of those games that every young team has to go through. We're getting better every week, and we've shown that. But you have to go through that period where you're trying to figure out how to persevere in bad situations or be able to withstand the onslaught when the team starts to come back. Or if you have a couple of bad breaks go against you, you have to be able to overcome those things. And that's kind of the crucible that every team has to go through when they get some of the young players.
Now to your offense and second-year QB Noah Faulkner. You have got to think that this was his best game as a Valley Husker. Good completion percentage, 367 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, Noah was, I've been watching Noah for 4 years now, and that was clear and away the best game I've seen him play. The interception that was returned for a touchdown was not his fault. So, I mean, he was almost error-free for that game, and he continues to progress every week, and he's a really great kid who never stops trying to get better and is always asking to learn more. And he's become a real leader on the team, and he's never lost his focus in one of these games. He just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, and no matter how good or bad things go. And yesterday was an example of what we're going to see in the future with him and what he's capable of.
Now to this weekend, you visit the Langley Rams on Saturday, a team just 2 weeks ago you lost to. Now that you have matched up against them once, what are some of the adjustments your team will look to make?
Well, I think we'll start with trying to score more. I think that would be a good start. Beyond that, you know what, it's just execution. They're a very good program. They've got a lot of veterans back, so you're going up against a group of kids that are used to playing junior football, and that is a learning curve that we have to go through, that our players have to go through, because they don't have that same level of experience. So with us, it's just coming out strong like we did against VI and trying to set the tone quickly, and then maintaining that, and then continuing to build as a team like I've talked about. This is very much a learning process that these kids need to go through. So we just need to do what we do best, and hopefully the results will show.
That is Jason Quinter, head coach of the Valley Huskers. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, thank you.
We also caught up with head coach of the Langley Rams, Kerry Joseph, and talked to him about his team's big win over the Broncos and his thoughts on the Rams' upcoming game against the Valley Huskers. Coach, this past weekend, your team defeated the Kamloops Broncos 51-7 in another huge win for your team. What are your thoughts on your team's performance?
I was happy with their effort. We still had too many penalties for my liking in the first half, but we went into the second half, third quarter, with a renewed focus, and they executed, and were able to get other guys on the field. So I was happy with their effort.
With 3 weeks gone in the season, who are some of the players that have really impressed you so far?
Sayak and Sammy had a really good game. He had 2 touchdowns, a couple big plays. He's a very electrifying player. I felt like our D-line had a good showing with Shaheem and Charles Brown and Nick Westad and Adam Marchetti. Those guys really controlled the line of scrimmage, which allowed us to hold Kamloops to under 200 yards total offense.
Now looking to this Saturday, your team hosts the Valley Huskers, who you beat just 2 weeks ago, 39-0. What can you expect in that game against the Huskers?
You know, we just want to come out and execute. Like I said, I wasn't pleased with our penalties. We're a little undisciplined in the first half, so for me, that's my focus, is getting us to be more disciplined and not take the cheap penalties and put ourselves in tough positions. So that's what I'm hoping for, and just, you know, overall effort and getting guys the opportunity to play in the game.
That is Kerry Joseph, head coach of the Langley Rams. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week. If you are in the Langley area, that game is this Saturday, kickoff at 7 p.m. at McLeod Athletic Park. This week, we have the 2-1 Westshore Rebels visiting the 0-3 Kamloops Broncos. We talked with Rebels head coach J.C. Boyce and got his thoughts on his team's performance this past weekend against the Okanagan Sun and what he expects this weekend versus the Kamloops Broncos. Coach Boyce, thanks for joining us.
Hey, great to be with you, Adam.
This past weekend, you lost to the Sun 27-21. Your team got down early but was able to make a game near the end. What are your thoughts on that game?
You know, we left a lot on the table, no doubt about it. Just really getting the film, you know, today after that long road trip back, we left a lot on the table. I think we have a very, very high ceiling, and I really like how our kids came back from a 17, nothing deficit. how they continue to fight. We scored and made a 1-point score, with 50-some seconds, and we're in position to go for an onside. I thought our defense played extremely well. The offense had some turnovers and, gave Okanagan a short field a couple times, and we gave them a special team score. So we got a lot of things to fix, but they're all correctable errors. So I'm excited to get going with this week.
Now, Coach, who were some of the players that impressed you the most?
I felt our D-line did a good job. We were thin on D-line, and a lot of guys stepped up. I thought our linebackers had some good hustle. I felt Brandon Gandar in particular as a DB made some nice breaks on some footballs, did a good job. I feel like offensively, our offensive line did a good job the second half. They created some lanes for Jamel, and our quarterbacks had time to throw. We just had an off day throwing the ball.
Now, looking forward to this week's game, you travel to Kamloops to play the 0-3 Broncos. What can you expect in that game?
Well, I think it's a tough deal for us, back-to-back, long, overnight road trips like that. But I think it's an opportunity for our kids to work on mental toughness. I think the Kamloops organization, I know Dino, their president, and Brad, their coach, I think they run a quality program. I think they're down a little bit. Now they've had a lot of opportunity to recruit young. But I think they're going to come hungry to play. I think they're balanced on offense. I think, they're sound on defense. They've competed every game they've been in. And honestly, I think it's a trap game for us. I think we really need to come prepared for a fight and have a strong week to go in there and take care of business.
That is J.C. Boyce, head coach of the Westshore Rebels. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week. We also caught up with the head coach of the Kamloops Broncos, Brad Yamoka, and talked to him about his team's performance in a loss to the Rams this past weekend. Coach, your team is coming off a loss to the Langley Rams, 51-7. What are your thoughts on that game?
We played really flat. We came out, and played well in the first few minutes, and the first series on offense, we threw an interception, which kind of put us in a hole defensively. But we didn't play well. I mean, it's I think traveling, we got to learn how to travel better. That's becoming obvious, I think, for us. But there's not much else to say. We didn't play well. Give credit to the Rams. They came out and played a good football game.
A bright spot on your team the first 3 weeks has been the play of DB Jordan Angove on the defensive side of the ball, but also the return game. How much does he mean to your team?
Oh, well, right now he's kind of the lifeline of our team right now. I mean, he's he's worked hard in the offseason. He's picked up his game. He's really learning a lot on the defensive side. And he's a game changer for us. And he's slowly developing into a leader on our team as well. So I don't know where we'd be if he wasn't on our football field right now.
This weekend you host the potent Westshore Rebels run game. What can you expect in that one?
Pretty much a lot of the same, I guess. They're going to give it to Jamal and try to run the football. And they're dynamic. They're big and strong on defense. They did a great job in the offseason of bringing in guys. And we're just going to have to get prepared to play probably with the toughest game we've had so far.
That is Brad Yamoka, head coach of the Kamloops Broncos. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
If you are in the Kamloops area this Saturday, the game between the Westshore Rebels and the Kamloops Broncos starts at 7 p.m. at Hillside Stadium.
Hey, it's Stephon Charles from the Detroit Lions, and you watching Touchdown BC, and we out here live.
This past Canada Day long weekend, the BCCFA organized their very first annual BCCFA Zone Bowl, which took the best players around the province from midget, bantam, junior bantam, split them up into teams to play some summertime ball. It was a great event out at McLeod Stadium in Langley that showed off the talent of the BCCFA. Now let's get to the highlights.
Midget Zone Bowl. VMFL White versus VMFL Orange. First cue, Peters eludes some pressure and takes off down the sideline for a big gain. A couple plays later, Peters looks to pass but is picked off by Christopher Ridley. He returns it to the 40-yard line. To the second we go. Peters buys some time, rolls out, and finds a streaking Simon O'Dong deep down the sideline for a huge gain. Couple plays later, Orange gets on the board on this great run by number 24, gets the outside and scores. Orange would get the ball back, new QB, Vicklin drops back to pass and then just takes off. Cuts outside, finds a seam, and he goes all the way for the major on a 45-yard touchdown run. Last play of the half, Peters looks to air it out, but it's picked off again by Ridley. Ridley with the lateral, why not? No time left. Joseph then gets it, but only can take it as far as midfield. Orange up at the half. Third Q, Nika throws it up, and it's his playmaker Joseph making an unbelievable catch. Goes beast mode on the defenders, then juking, dodging all the way down to the 5. Orange puts the game away with this Peters pass to a wide open Darian Pritchard. Orange goes on to win the first annual Zone Bowl. VBN's Warren Andrews caught up with the MVP Simon O'Dong after the game.
Here with the 2016 Midget Division Zone Bowl Championship MVP Simon O'Dong, a local boy out of Langley, number 5. It was the safety, was the receiver, did it all. Your thoughts on winning the inaugural Zone Bowl, Simon?
It was a really good competition. You know, we came out here to compete, and that's what I like to see, right? Boys competing and all that, like playing for their position and just having fun, right? So that's what we're looking forward to do, just like working hard on the field, killing it, playing with each other, you know, getting to know each other on the field and off of the field. You know, you build that mutual respect, right?
How hard was it to kind of gel and get some chemistry going? Because I'm assuming just a few practices and then you're thrown into the fire.
Well, the good thing about it was we were very comfortable with each other at the beginning, right? Like no one was awkward, so that's what made it really easy to communicate with each other, right? So it was really easy making friends out here, and everyone, as you can tell, was really friendly. So it's a really good environment.
This is, I understand, just yet another accomplishment to add to many that you've gotten over football. And I know you're not an overly proud person, but maybe share with some of the people some of the accomplishments you've had in football.
Just this year, I got invited to go play for Team BC for the Flag Nationals, and I ended up getting defensive back or MVP for defense out there, and we came unfortunately a little short off of the final spot and lost to Team Manitoba by a touchdown, but that's okay, right? Having fun, so it's all good. And then just this year for midget, I got Sportsmanship of the Year for the team. And after that, I got MVP on the team as well for the community team I played for, which is Langley Stampeders out here.
Parents obviously have a big trophy case that continues to grow. Now, I'm assuming football will be in your future. What are some of your future goals?
My future goals are to go play at the next level, but at the same time, school first, right? So,
Mom and dad like that.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm hoping to happen this year is go play out for the UBC Thunderbirds, you know, Vanier Cup champions, which is really exciting, right? So I'm pretty hyped up about that. And the team, the good thing about this year is everyone gets to play, Coach Neil said. So as long as I'm out there to compete, I might, you know, get a chance to play this year and see the field, you know?
Simon O'Dong, number 5, who was the MVP of the 2016 Zone Bowl.
Bantam Zone Bowl VMFL versus the Island Mainland starts strong with a great run from Jalen Philpott running hard for a great gain. Couple plays later, QB Josh Haydu airs it out, but it's picked off by an Island defender. Mainland's next drive, Matt Wachina gets the handoff on the reverse. Looks like he does not have any room, but all it takes is one cut from this kid. He finds the edge and he will take off down the sideline for a 105-yard run. Just wow. Philpott is at it again, this time rumbling all the way down to the 40. Island can't take this guy down. Mainland just won't be stopped. This time it's Mike Calvert from the South Delta Rams who does everything in his power not to go down, bouncing off every tackle until finding room down the sideline. That's why South Delta Bantam team last year went undefeated and won the championship. The Lower Mainland wins this one against the Island. If you are looking to sign up for community football this season, visit bccommunityfootball.ca for more information on flag football, 9-man tackle, and 12-man tackle.
This past July, Football Canada's junior national team traveled to China for the IFAF U19 World Championship, and the trip was well worth it. Spoiler alert. After a good start to the tournament, the Canadians beat Mexico in the semifinals to advance to the finals to take on the US of A. Early in the tournament, Canada lost to the States, but the gold medal game was a different story.
Gold medal game, the Americans have won 2, the Canadians have won 1 gold medal in this final. The U.S. took an early 3-0 lead on a 22-yard field goal. However, the U.S. would regain possession. Ball was recovered by an American defender. The Canadian defense was able to hold the U.S. at bay, forcing a field goal attempt that missed the mark. And Canada pulled ahead 2 plays into their following series as quarterback Dimitri Morin found receiver Francois Rochelot along the sideline for an 80-yard touchdown, giving Canada a 7-3 lead. Canada would not look back as a 47-yard Felix Rousselet-Roy touchdown run would widen the lead at 14-3, leading into the break. The defending silver medalist would strike again early in the second half as Morin connected with Rochelot once again, this time on a 67-yard play-action touchdown strike to give Canada a 21-3 advantage. With a pair of touchdowns, Rochelot was named Canada's player of the game. The following series, the U.S. came out gunning, but the Canadian defense was equal to the task as Bruno Lagacé stepped in front of a Lyndell Stone pass to give Canada the ball at midfield. Canada capitalized on the turnover as Vincent Blanchard nailed a 40-yard field goal attempt to increase the Canadian lead. Canada wins it. Canada becomes the first team to keep the U.S. team out of the end zone in a major international competition game. World Junior final record between Canada and U.S. is now 2-2.
What a season it was for the UBC Thunderbirds last year, coming out of nowhere to win the Vanier Cup for the first time since 1997. This offseason, the T-Birds added some new faces to its coaching staff. Longtime Queens defensive coordinator Pat Tracy was hired as UBC's new defensive coordinator. Tracy, who most recently was the special teams coordinator for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, won a Vanier Cup with Queens in 2009 and has 113 wins in the CIS as a defensive coordinator. Expect that number to grow. Also, UBC hired former BC Lions and fan favorite slot back Paris Jackson to become the team's new receiver coach. Jackson, a Carson Graham alum who spent 11 years in the CFL and won 2 Grey Cups, will be coaching one of the best receiver groups in the country. If you thought that UBC could not get any better, they just did with these 2 hires. Now let's take a look at UBC's schedule for this upcoming season.
UBC will play an exhibition game against the Manitoba Bisons August 26th in Langford, BC at West Hill Stadium, home of the Westshore Rebels. Then, in Week 2 of the regular season, they will visit the Calgary Dinos in a rematch of last year's Hardy Cup game. Now to the Crown Produce Canada West football schedule on Shaw. Each week, Jim Mullen and the Crown crew will bring you quality coverage of Canada West football. 4 games on Shaw in the first 2 weeks. On Saturday, October 1st, Crown Produce Canada West football will be broadcasting the first ever football game played at the new Mosaic Stadium. Later in the season, more games will be announced, determined by playoff races. What a great year for Can West football.
Well, there you have it. Episode 1 is in the books. Hope you all enjoyed. If you are waiting on high school or community football to start, go out and support your local BCFC team. It will be well worth it. Don't worry, Ty Clark fans. He will be back co-hosting with me next week and throughout the season. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.